Hello, poets. I'm excited to be working again with you guys today. And I'm going to be referencing back to yesterday's lesson where we talked a lot about the different structure of poems. We talked about conversation poems and list poems. And then there's also story poems, which are where a poem is kind of a small moment. And you can see an example of that on the slide about the fly fishing. But today we're really going to focus in again on the conversation and list poems because I want to teach you that poets choose the structure of their poem with intention because it gets across a big, strong feeling. So I'm going to use my poem that I started yesterday about making chili with my husband. And I want you to really help me to decide, is a conversation poem or a list poem going to get that big, strong feeling across? Will my reader understand the feeling based on the structure? So I want to go back to sort of my start of my poem. Here I have my conversation one, and here is my list. I'll read the recipe. I'll open the cans. Don't forget the garlic. Cooking chili, open cans, pour the beans, mince garlic. So these are the two types, and I want to really think deeply about being purposeful with the structure that I choose to continue to write my poem. So again, this poem was all about how I was making chili with my husband. Recently, during this whole time, we've been able to be together when we are cooking dinner. Usually my husband's working in New York City, and so he doesn't get home until after I've already made dinner, and I usually cook dinner by myself. But now we're able to cook together, and it's sort of exciting. It's new for us, and we're trying out new recipes like chili. So it's something that we're doing together, and I really want to get that togetherness and how we're helping each other across. So I want you to take 10 silent seconds to think, would a conversation structure or a list structure be better to convey that idea of helping and togetherness? So for me, I was thinking if this were a poem about me just cooking normally by myself dinner, maybe a list poem would have been the structure I want. But because the big feeling, that idea that I want to get across is doing something together, for me, I think a conversation poem, that structure is going to lend itself nicely to that big idea, the feeling that I want my reader to get. So I started and I kept writing my chili poem. And I'll read it to you, and I want you to think about that structure. And if you're hearing as the listener, that feeling of us working and partnering together to make the chili. Communal chili. We can do it. I'll read the recipe. I'll open the cans. Don't forget the garlic. Don't forget the beans. We're really cooking now. We're a team. And so I want to draw your eyes to this idea of how I indented to show the difference in who is doing the speaking in my poem. I imagine myself like, here I am, this part, and then my husband was those lines. And so today I want to challenge you to continue to really push yourself and think, did the poem I write yesterday, did it match that feeling that I want to get across? If I had written my poem about chili as my list, and I'm starting to really think deeply about the poem and know that we always are writing for meaning and we're writing for a big idea, would this have done it? And to me, it wouldn't have. So I really wanted to push myself to do the conversation. So today I want you to think, did the poem you write yesterday, does it help to get across that deeper meaning? And if it doesn't, maybe you want to revise it. Or if you think you did a great job yesterday, try a new one today, but start with that idea. Start with the big feeling that you want your reader to understand and think, what type of poem? Is it a conversation? Is it a list? Or is it sort of that small moment poem where you're really zooming in on a moment and describing it using show, not tell?